All right, well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar, Bringing Advocacy into the Classroom. Today's webinar is generously sponsored by NGen, and today we have Miranda Luce, who's going to share a few words with us. Miranda.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to share my screen really quick. All right. Are you able to see my screen?
We are.
Great. All right. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Miranda Luce. I'm the Director of Partnership Development at NGen, and we're really grateful to have the opportunity to support COABE's advocacy initiatives and to also be in the presence of Kathryn Davies, who's doing impactful work supporting learners in the classroom and beyond. And there's so much alignment in what Kathryn will speak about today and NGen's mission, which is to remove English as a barrier to educational, career, and economic opportunities, increasing equity and access at scale for immigrants, refugees, and speakers of other languages. And through our skills-focused language upskilling platform, we are giving voice to an underserved community and empowering learners with the English skills needed to advocate for themselves in their communities, in their workplaces, and in their academic programs. We all know that English is the single biggest barrier to career advancement. And right now in the United States, only 4% of English language learners have access to ESL instruction. So there's so much more that we can do as an ecosystem to reach that 96% through innovative approaches and meeting learners where they're at. Our learners are able to accelerate and improve their English proficiency through adaptive and personalized learning that is tailored to not only their personal goals, but their career goals. And the platform is also available on web and mobile devices, removing any barriers that learners have to technology. Learners are getting contextualized career-specific instruction that teaches them the language that they're using on a daily basis in their work or in their personal lives or aspiring to use. What makes NGen really unique, and you can see here at that bullet on the bottom, is that we're using authentic, real-world authentic content pulled from our employer partners, our education partners, and open source entities like OSHA for our workplace safety course, or the Small Business Administration for our entrepreneurship course. We have over 80 courses or pathways, we call them, in the platform that range from early childhood education to certified nursing assistants to manufacturing, retail, and food service to more general courses like basic math and citizenship and civics and digital literacy, all of which align to WIOA standards. Administrators of the platform can also access all of their learner data and track their learner performance, their time on task, their overall engagement, and measure their program success. And we couldn't do any of this without our partnerships. So we work with adult education programs and providers and hundreds of instructors across the country to reach learners in the community and support their goals in achieving certifications that they need to get careers that unlock economic and social mobility. And we also work with community college districts. We work with various higher ed institutions, local and state governments, workforce development agencies, employers from Amazon to Chobani to Maine Health, just to name a few. Impact is really the core of our work. Last year, we surveyed our learners back in October, and one of the most important words that we heard from our learners was confidence, which I know Kathryn will speak on today. In fact, 71% of our learners who reported achieving workplace goals said they increased their confidence to give instructions at work, to speak to managers, to ask their doctor questions, and so on. And I'm happy to share those results along with my email in the chat. So if you'd like to learn more about us and what we do and how we can support your learners, feel free to reach on out. I'm going to include those resources for you in the chat here. And I just wanted to say thank you again for your time. Thank you to COABE and thank you to Kathryn for having me. And so I'll pass it over to Kathryn.
Miranda, thank you so much. We're grateful for everything NGen does in the field of adult education. And like you're thankful for your partners, we're grateful for our partnership as well, because we wouldn't be able to put on these webinars if it wasn't for you and your support. So thank you very much. All right. All right, well, we have an exciting topic today. Our presenter today is Kathryn Davis. Kathryn has been teaching adults for more than 7 years. In the past decades, she had focused on teaching arts to adults, including calligraphy, one of my favorite topics. More recently, she has focused on teaching conversational ESL, citizenship, and American lives, reading classes that include history and writings of Americans that have impacted our lives. Within each class, she guides the students about advocacy, finding resources, and the confidence to speak for themselves. Her experience in taking over 55,000 calls on the overnight shift while employed by the National Domestic Violence Hotline has enabled her to be resourceful. And we look forward to her presentation today. If you want to say hello in the chat box, type in where you're calling in from today. You can submit questions that you have during this presentation in the Q&A section. And with that, I'll turn it over to Kathryn. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am really excited. Can y'all verify that y'all can see the slide?
We can, yes.
Awesome. I've got a Microsoft pop-up and I was like, oh no, not very timely. Normally I wear my glasses, but they have the blue in it. And so I'm put them up. So my apologies if I squint just a little bit. I want to really let y'all know how excited I am to be with y'all. Some reason okay, let me just do something here. There we go. Thank you. If y'all can take a snapshot of this and let me know, you can tell me on Twitter or Instagram. Take a snapshot of the screen and let me know what your passion is. What is your passion and what do you advocate for? We all advocate for something, if not for just a clear day and no tornadoes, no hurricanes, right? You know, we always advocate for different things, and I would love to hear. And you can, if you don't have access to your camera because you're viewing it online, go ahead and try to snap a picture of it and do it later, or just follow along. You can also mention it in the chat if you would like to. I am going to make sure sound is on. Okay, good. Next screen. Minor housekeeping, and this is something that I've done in the prior presentations. I use a lot of technology, but if some questions come up, please put it in the chat box and let James know so that he can maybe ask me during pauses. This is my email address, bluebonnetfields@gmail.com. If you ever have any questions, of course, you can reach me on Twitter, Instagram, also TikTok and Clapper, and Pinterest. I don't know. I'm big on social media, so there's always a way to find me. My background, I've taught through several different churches, various programs. During the pandemic, we pivoted to going online teaching, as many of y'all probably have. I have also began teaching at Permian Basin Adult Learning Center. I also teach there not only citizenship, but I also teach an American lives class, a conversation class, and then we've amped up the American lives class. I was seeing, yeah, the American lives class has this book from New Readers Press. And I've amped it up and have an American Lives Rebound class where I have researched actual writings of the different people, which has made it interesting for more advanced reading class. It's really interesting to do. Of course, USCIS for citizenship, they do periodic trainings, and they have been doing it online as well. Volunteering is part of who I am, including working at the National Domestic Violence Hotline, Hope Alliance, the YWCA, Pro Bar of Harlingen, Texas. If anybody is from Harlingen, they probably know who Pro Bar is. Just all kinds of things. So I wear many hats, extremely diverse. Why have I come to teach this is because we've seen the rising of the Black Lives Matter movement, of course, the Me Too movement. We have seen all of our students who want to know more. They come to our classes because they want to change their lives, but maybe they don't know exactly how. Maybe they've been in an abusive relationship, or currently are in an abusive relationship, or have experienced various factors throughout their lives. It's really important that everybody has their voices to be heard. It's like the Dr. Seuss, the Who and Whoville. Hi! And Horton's like, I think I hear somebody, right? So it's really important to have voices heard. So many can be oppressed in their own countries, as we well know, when we have international attendance of our classes from all parts of the world. I've had Myanmar, Taiwan, all the way down, in Colombia and Brazil, all over the place. So it's really interesting to see all the different cultures. It's important that we share the gift of VAWA and let the people know that Violence Against Women Act is important. And just because they may not be a citizen yet, they still qualify for assistance through the VAWA program. So it's important to kind of point that out to them. It's our responsibility to give them the tools to be active citizens. Meaning, when I teach citizenship, I don't just teach citizenship so that they can pass the test. I want them to be able to voice their concerns at the Capitol. I want them to be able to advocate for what their needs are. If we don't give them the tools to do that, it's kind of doing a disservice, don't you think? So again, I mentioned some of the different organizations that I've received training through. These are also, I get always asked, where can I get more training? These are some avenues for you to get more training. The USCIS area trainings, which have been online. Literacy Connects Us is here in Texas. If you're in Texas, you have access to Literacy Connects Us and their trainings. They are also going online through, because of the pandemic, they have done online trainings. So if you're in another state, you can certainly access their trainings. In fact, one of their trainings is coming up this weekend, I think. AmeriCorps is a valuable service. English Forward is a training program through AmeriCorps, but they also do it through the community. Literacy Texas conferences and many workshops, of course, the collab workshops and trainings that y'all are attending as well. Personal research and World of Dance. I love that course through ACC. And because it really opened eyes more to the different types of cultures throughout the world. Really, it was amazing. And I'll show you glimpses of that later. And this is my education background, all kinds of different things. In the chat box, if you haven't already, if you would go ahead and share your name, the city or state you're from, and how do you define advocacy? I would love to see. Yeah, I agree. People don't have a voice, but they can develop an opportunity to share their voice. Indiana. Oh, Harleton. Okay. Harleton, Texas. Oh, okay. Very good. Anybody else? Let's see. Pikeville, Kentucky. Okay, so how do y'all define advocacy? Oh, Nashville? Yes. Standing up, speaking out, protecting those who need it. Yes. Speaking up for ourselves. Yes, that's very important because sometimes as advocates, we're so enthralled in helping others that sometimes we forget helping ourselves. The truth. Yes. Arguing for a cause. Yes, to a point. Absolutely. Providing tools for them to help themselves. Speaking up for those who can't. Absolutely. Dedicated time helping somebody. Yes. Using one's voice. I love that. Let someone, something important. Teaching others how to speak up for themselves. Yes. Unconditional support. Yes. You don't want to say, I'll help you if you do this. No, you help them because you want to help them. Absolutely. Empowering others, make a better and voice it. Yes. Teaching others they matter. I love that. Equipping, sometimes silent. Okay. I know there's a whole bunch of y'all. So I am reading these as I continue on. I love what y'all have written. That is wonderful. Now, what I want you to put in there is there anything that you are specifically doing in your classroom? Do you present a certain topic, or what do you do to develop advocacy in your classroom? Oh, yes, diverse authors. That is very important. Indeed. I like that. Teach self-advocacy skills. Yes. What do you need? I like that. Find resources that are helpful. Yes, and a lot of your local community centers will have resources for your community. Express thoughts and opinions. Yes, and honor their opinions. It may not be what you agree with, but honor their opinion. Absolutely. Yes, listening. I love that. Yes, I like that too. The ambassador program. Good idea. Citizens' rights. Yes, even if they are not in a citizenship class, I think it's really important to explain citizens' rights. And just talking about self-confidence. Yes. Y'all have wonderful ideas. I'm going to share this video. This is one video that I share with a lot of my students at the very beginning, because sometimes they're a little bit antsy. And I'm going to skip through it because it's a little bit long, but it's got some powerful moments. I don't know if y'all have, ensure a safe space. Very important. Okay. I don't know if y'all have seen this before, but it's very powerful.
Ever failed? No matter. Try again. fail again, fail better. I had so many dreams of where I wanted to go, who I wanted to be, and what I wanted to do. Theater companies I wanted to start with classmates, movies I wanted to be in, directors I wanted to work with, stories I needed to tell. It might take a little time, I thought, but it would happen. What I didn't have was cash, a bank account, a credit card, or an apartment. I just had debt, a big, hungry, growing larger every moment debt. I packed the life that I knew with socks and a toothbrush into my backpack, and I slept on couch after couch after couch after couch at friends' apartments in New York until I wore out their rent-paying roommates' welcome. I dusted pianos at a piano store on Ludlow Street for 5 months. I worked on the property of a Shakespeare scholar for a year, pulling weeds and removing bees' nests. I went on unemployment once, but not for long. I couldn't handle the guilt. Eventually, I was able to pay rent for a spot on the floor of an apartment on the Lower East Side, but my roommate had a breakdown and disappeared. And then, finally, after 2 years of job and couch surfing, I got a job in application processing as a data enterer at a place called Professional Examination Services.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here. But it's Peter Dinklage, Dinklage, and it's a the title on it is not what I searched by, but if you search by Peter Dinklage and put powerful speech, you'll find this video. And I would encourage you to share it at some point in your classroom because it talks about starting from ground zero, having nothing, and actually achieving things. And having this philosophy that even if you fail harder and you learn from it and you move forward. It's a very powerful video. I love to start it on the first day of class, making sure that they all know that no matter where they come from, and no matter what their background is, they are going to succeed and they are going to excel and they are going to learn some things that they may have not imagined that they were going to learn. So it's an interesting video to share. I also, before I go, what are your thoughts on this? Any specific thoughts? Yes, Gracilia, in North Carolina. Allow them to access different resources available within the community that they are living. That's what I had mentioned before. Yes, to find some local resources that are great for your area. So what do you feel that how you could use that video in your classroom? Keep trying, fail and learn from it. Donna, yes. More courage and confidence. Yes, because they may struggle at the beginning of the class. They may like, I'm going to give up. I can't do this. It's important that you instill that confidence. Yes, when people realize they're not alone, that there are other people struggling. Don't give up, keep trying. Yep. Mm-hmm. They too can overcome obstacles. Yes, I love it. So there's also one with no words, and that can also kind of interject the same type of thing. This one, I may not show you the whole thing. I'm trying to be cognizant of time. And there's no sound, just visual, which is great for students that aren't understanding English just yet. But actions speak louder than words, right? The dragon fruit. We're talking about teamwork, Sharon. And building the confidence. They see the eagle about to take their dragon fruit. Instant. And working so hard to get it back. I'm going to pause it. But teamwork can make dream work is how you search for this video on YouTube. Just when you think you're not communicating your message to the students, they will get it. Have that V8 moment when things will click. As one of my students said, it was because I've had her for several years in English classes and then citizenship classes. And she was like really amazed when her brain connected to her mouth and she could speak. I love that analogy. So, there's always this aha moment, and don't forget to add videos to your repertoire. Of course, Dr. Maya Angelou has some powerful videos as well. She's very empowering. Her
Many
words,
people wonder
her
where my
poetry
secret lies.
is
I'm not
amazing.
cute or built to suit a fashion model size. When I start to tell them, they think I'm telling lies. I say, it's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally. I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes, the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist, the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Men themselves have wondered what they see in me. They try so much, but they can't touch my inner mystery.
So besides showing the video, you can also pull out her poetry. She has some powerful messages in her poetry. And when somebody was mentioning, reading diverse authors, don't forget the poetry. The poetry has a way of speaking to people, and it brings about confidence. Of course, Matthew McConaughey is a
If I
very
could replay
positive
for you
person.
one moment in your life outside of marriage and kids,
Yeah.
what would you choose?
Replay that, just any moment.
Any moment, the greatest moment,
Oh, the greatest moment?
one you'd most like to live through again.
Oh, the most like to live through again. Shoot, the most important ones were some of the ones that I don't want to relive through again at all.
But that in itself can be a great moment, if
Oh, yeah. I mean, what happens to a man after they lose their father? Incredible things happen to a man after they lose their father.
what impact did that have on you?
Oh, courage, integrity.
Mhm.
Anybody lose a family, you lose a father, that's the main crutch in a man's life. And it's there for a reason, because if it ever comes down to it, you got your own father to lean up against.
What would your father have made of you being Oscar nominated?
But again, not a lot of our students may be coming from different countries. They may not have their family. So loss is kind of important to talk about in order to bring up that conversation, that because they're experiencing a lot of different feelings and emotions that may affect their abilities to learn or their motivation to learn. So if you bring up these kind of conversations, go ahead and bring them up. How are you feeling today? How does that make you feel? I know we're not psychologists per se, but delving into topics like this helps to encourage and empower them to know that they're not alone in their feelings. Our experiences may not be exactly the same, but feelings, we usually can identify with feelings, right? Here's another one, and you're talking about diversity, right? This is a empowerment poetry.
My name is Britta B., and the name of this poem is Dear Young Woman. Dear young woman, I hope you find you. I hope you find love. I see all the armor you wear. I see all the jewels and gems of wisdom you share. It's okay to shine, Ma. It's okay to shine. It's okay to have pride, Ma. You don't have to live a lie. Don't let the violence fool you into silence, convincing you that you are not worthy of space and time. You might not know it yet, but you got a multi-dimensional set of eyes looking out for you. Trust that what is meant for you is relying on you to show up. Show up. You can lose your religion, but you will never lose your spirit. Each of your breaths have minds and lives of their own. I doubt we'll ever know the true impact of our presence. What a blessing. Young woman, I wish you enough. I wish you enough time for all of your skills and talents. I wish you more. I wish you more revelations than disrespects and regrets. And I beg you to believe in yourself more than your parents ever did. Carry out your curiosities in spite of the corruptions you experience. You let yourself free when you let yourself forgive. And so when you do, and I know you will. I hope you find you. I hope you find love again. A word that comes to mind
Sorry.
for this piece is empowerment.
Mhm.
As a poet, I really want to serve as an encouraging voice through my work. And I want this poem to be a reminder that whatever you're going through as a woman, you have the choice to make for yourself on how gentle and kind you are with yourself. So I may be putting this out there as a message for people other than me, but it's also a reminder to myself to treat myself kindly and to be good to myself.
So again, this can be shown as a video. It's very important to show identity with different cultures and different backgrounds and different ways of expression. That's what helps build confidence, is to help bring about change through expression. We're all familiar with Renee Brown. I'm going to skip this video in interest of time, but she gave a very empowering uh, graduation speech in 2020 and missed the pandemic and everything. And if you know Brene Brown, she had some really interesting ways to speak. What are in the chat? Give me some words that you use to allow the students that are in your classroom to empower them. What are some other words? Miranda spoke of confidence, of course. Give it a chance. I love that. The only failure is not to try. Good. You can do this. I believe in you. Yes. I have faith in you. Faith is a really important word. And it's a interesting concept to teach to students that don't have faith. I'll never give up on you. Believe and trust on you. And let the students know too that, you're here because you believe in them. You're here because no matter whether you're paid as a teacher or not, you are here because you want to help them. We were born to succeed, not to, I am here for you. But okay, y'all are great phrases. Single words. What is a single word that you would use? Trust, yes. Power, yes. Or empower, exactly. Belief, persevere, try, yes. Empathy, yes. I love that. Encourage, yes. Consistency, yes. We want them to be consistent in their attendance so that they are also consistent in their learning. Resilience, I love that word. Perseverance, but resilience, yes. As a survivor of domestic violence, we strive to be thrivers instead. So thriver is also a good word. Together, trust. I love the words you are coming up with. Great. This is a video that, and just in case y'all haven't seen it, it's real short. And I will play it because everybody needs to see this one. Oh, it didn't play. Let me go back. Try again, right? Okay, here we go. I know I love this video
So what is
too.
empathy and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think of empathy as this kind of sacred space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, you climb down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, no, you want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Mm-hmm. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. Yeah. And we do it all the time, because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So I had a miscarriage. At least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
This is a really good video. And when I first started dating my husband, my now husband, when we were dating, he would do that at least. And I said, I've got to show you a video. And so it helped us to become better communicators. We need to teach empowering words to build confidence in our students, to build their vocabulary, to empower others around them, to help them find their story and voice. World cultures. So I attended a world cultures class, and we learned different types of dances from different cultures. The Philippines dance. Oh, it did it again. Hang on a second. Well, the flamingos dance. Which was very interesting. A Korean dance, all the different steps. It's really important to take time to learn the cultures. The students respond positively when you are able to share something about their cultures. Like when I had a Cambodia student and I mentioned about the dance and how the dancers would hold their hands where it almost comes to your forearm. And he was like, yes, you know about that. So it's really interesting to listen and hear from your students and learn about the different cultures. You can always learn different cultures from TED Talks, literature, you know, all the wonderful fairy tales, myths that they shared really tell a story of their cultures. PBS, performances, theater and dance, of course, art centers. There's so many different ways to be able to develop that culture in your classroom. So real quickly, what are you doing to build a culture in your classroom? Give me some ideas. making learning relevant. Yes. Conversation cafe. Yes. That's what I do with the Permian Basin. Yes. I love that. Reading and writing assignments, sharing about different, yes. The initiative. Yes, absolutely. Talking about the stories and recording them. Yes, absolutely. Ask students to share holidays. Yes, we would often have potluck at the end of a season over at El Buen, the Maritano, and everybody would bring something from their culture. And it was really interesting, authentic discussions. Yes. Yes, I love all of those. So some of the ones that I have are post their name or country on a world map, which shows pride, show and tell, connecting them to a story and culture. Roses and thorns. Does anybody know about roses and thorns? I do this at the end of every class, whether it's in person or online. Oh, I love movies from other countries. Yes. But if I am online or in person, I will ask them, share one thing that is a rose or something positive in your life right now, or a thorn, something that brings you sorrow, and maybe painful in your life right now. And it's been really interesting, especially with the pandemic. Some of the students have lost their siblings, their friends due to COVID. And so that was an outlet for them to express that at the very end of the class. We didn't leave class without having roses and thorns moments so that they can have a moment of personal information instead of just constant learning. And I learned from them at the same time. The root of something that has a potential to grow, either a rose or a thorn. Yes. Yes, I love the end of semester parties. Yes. Collect words of different languages, showing them the the connectivity between languages. I'm losing the word that I'm looking for. That a lot of our languages have roots to them. And if you share some of those roots, whether it's a prefix or a suffix, then they can accelerate their learning even faster and get motivated in learning more. Honor the culture, speed conversation night. Yes, we did that too, which is interesting. It's like a speed dating, but you have students lined up with people from your community, and they rotate from each community member and have a conversation with them for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, however many, that you can allow for, depending on the size of the student's classroom and the people responding as a community to participate with you. This is a sample of the world map, and it was really interesting. I took a picture of them the first day and then made sure that I allowed them to put their name and their country on it, and then we posted it up on the world map. Inform, remind, especially citizenship classes. So it's important to inform. So I also include some things that are currently happening at the Texas legislation, and we talk about it in the conversation classes and in the citizenship classes. Culture posters that include 10 questions important to ask in native language and translated to English. Oh, I want to copy that. That is an interesting one. Yes, I love that. and they talk about things happening in their lives. Yes, and especially with the roses and thorns, it helps us to make space for them to do that. Absolutely. So, soft skills, of course, we talk about job interviews, sharing their voice, social skills, classroom rules, right? Building confidence, how you get help at the bank or the store or emergencies, job skills, how to ride a bus. I did a whole thing with AmeriCorps, sharing a story about how to get from to ride the bus, how to ride the system, where to go get the tickets. How do you get a ticket? How do you do this? Um, and due to the pandemic, we had different ways of hugging, right? Different expressions. And being able to communicate that with other students is helpful. How do you want to be approached? Are you a hugger? Is it okay for you to be hugged now? For a while there, it's like, I'll fist bump you or I'll high five you. Um, during the pandemic, while we were learning about, what is the right way to do things. And in some cultures, eye contact is a big thing, but eye contact here in the United States is also a big thing. And it's interesting to teach the students it's okay to look at somebody in the eye here in America, even though they are uncomfortable with it, but it helps them with getting a job interview, passing the citizenship test, all kinds of things. So it's all kinds of different things. Here, this lady is talking about being able to ask questions. So we teach our students how to ask questions. If they don't understand something, then let them know it's okay. It's okay if they ask, can you slow down? I'm just learning English. Can you slow down just a little bit? Or can you repeat that? Or can you say that differently? Because I don't quite understand what you said. Sometimes saying it a different way helps them to understand. Culture experience with others in the classroom is empowering and inspirational. Yes, indeed. When you're laughing, oh, this is Buble.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world, it smiles with you.
So that's a reminder also to share with students about smiling. It's important in the American culture to be happy and smile, especially if you're doing a job interview or the citizenship interview or something like that. It's really important to teach them it's okay to smile. It's okay to chuckle. This guy is really happy. Quality time. So it's important to share quality time in your classroom whenever you can get an opportunity to do so. ESL training program is available through English Forward through willread.org. And about English Forward, and then Literacy Connects us, and of course Literacy Texas has theirs, and COAB has theirs, and y'all are going through all kinds of different trainings this week. USCIS, of course, offers training. Don't forget those options for training. We also offer here in Austin, and I presume in other areas, they will have services to help people file their citizenship. so they'll look over, it's pro bono attorneys that get together and they review their application, make sure that all their T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and then they will help them file it along with their fees that they pay. What are you, we're almost out of time, but what are some of your best takeaways from my presentation? What did you like most, or maybe you wish to see more of? And while you're writing that, I will also annotate it. The videos help to communicate because some students are very visual learners and some are auditory learners. So incorporating the different senses in your classroom is best. Instill positive words for our students. I like to, oh, thank you, Danette. I appreciate that. Right. And sometimes they can be too fast. And of course, I gave very quick snippets of some. Intentional in using the arts. Yes, the arts help to express. Thank you. I love the world of dance participation in that. Good. Yes, multimedia is an option in most classrooms. Even bring your own computer and put it up there. Some classrooms have gone to the extent of having computers in the classroom, and you can Chromecast up to that computer. Yes, address their needs other than just English. Yes, you can slow down the videos on YouTube, and usually when I do it in my videos, I will use the caption so they can follow along in the words while they're hearing. It's very important to get that learning speaking process working, and so having those captions are helpful. Variation of approaches in the classroom. Yes, you want to keep your students interested. You want them to be, I think, yes, there will be a poll. So I'm like really being quickly on this. The importance of creativity, positivity. Yes. Yes. Good. I'm glad you like that. Collaboration. I love that word. I love that. So staying on top of the most current news, you can reach me through Twitter, Instagram for a larger list. Email me. I have a larger list. And you can sign up for different email lists from TESOL, USCIS, etc., Catholic Charities, everything. And right now there's a pop-up with a poll on the screen. Please enter your response. I hope that everyone exceeded the expectations, but if it didn't, I would love to have your feedback. So email me, contact me via social media or through them and let them know why it didn't meet your expectations. But I really enjoy giving this presentation. I think it's very important to empower our students to instill confidence and instill confidence in many, many different ways. I think my clock just struck 1 here in Austin, or 2. And I think we are about end of time. James, are there any other added words that you need to add?
Well, we are at the end of the presentation. I just want to thank you, Kathryn, for a wonderful presentation. I want to thank our sponsor, NGen, again, for their partnership. Again, this webinar wouldn't be available without their partnership, so we're appreciative. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you haven't taken the time to fill out the poll, just take a second to fill that out. Let us know.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry.
I hope everybody has a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Bye.